An arresting cable snapped during their landing. Lieutenant Commander Kellen Smith was the aircraft commander that day.
Hi everyone, it's Ate. Welcome back to the channel. As you guys know, every Wednesday it is the English content on the channel, and we created English playlist as well. So make sure you have a look at those. I've got dozens of videos you have probably not seen on landing on a carrier, on dogfighting, on ACM, air combat maneuvering, and a lot of different subjects and movies as well. Today we're going to be focusing on a snapping cable, a cable that didn't work properly during a E2C, a Hawkeye, landing on an aircraft carrier, and to be precise, during the landing of a E2C from VAW, Air Command and Control Squadron 123, on the CVN-69 on the hike that had been launched created in the 70s and deemed operational in 77. It is Carrier Strike Group 10, and without further delay, jingle.
Check. Radar. Secure. Gun blast emitter. Clear. Right intake. Check. Left intake. Check. Protection seat is safe. Arm handle. Copy. I shall say. Come on. Com. IFF. Up and up. Let's go. Let's go. Move it. DDI. MDCD and ATV. Go flight. SCS. ECS. AWP. All green across the board. Okay for start. Copy. Okay for start.
Let's start by having a look at the footage. Let's do this. And playing the footage, you see the E2C cable snapping, and oh boy, I like how they zoom. And still alive. Okay, so quite a shock. Let's play it again. We got the E2 landing 13:52:57 seconds. You see that is properly lined up with center line, good landing, everything is looking perfectly as it should. And you see here the cable is snapping, it breaks, and it hadn't happened in the past 10 years when this event took place. I think it was 2016, so it's something that is extremely rare. And you can see the cable right here moving, and it's gonna hit some of the deck personnel from the squadron, from VAW 123. 8 personnel on the deck got injured. One almost lost his foot, and one got a skull injury, a skull fracture. And they published a picture of his headset, of his protection gear, to advertise to everybody on the flight deck and in general in the industry, wear your safety equipment. It saved this sailor life. So it is very, very dangerous when a cable snap. It can kill people on the flight deck. Beware of that. And we're gonna switch our focus. You see the guy? He just ran, and I'm not sure if he got hit or not, but 8 got hit. So this one looks safe, but everybody moves. And you see those guys moving toward the back while some are going to move forward. And what we're going to be discussing now is how come they survived? What happened? And is it possible with a fast jet? Really? Okay, so let's play it step by step. First, we have the Hawkeye. Sorry, that's my Rafale. I used to fly Rafale. You have the Hawkeye approaching. He's at the right AOA, angle of attack, to be exactly in a good position, depending on his weight, to have the hook that is going to arrive at the right position on the flight deck to catch one of the 4 wires that help slow down the aircraft in a very short amount of distance. So the aircraft is flying. He has 2 big turbine engines, and what makes landing on a carrier difficult with the E2C is the width of the aircraft. You really have to be on center line, and every single time you touch the throttle, it's going to create side effects, gyroscopic effects, because you have propellers turning, and that creates a lot of side effects on an airframe. Therefore, they are very, very gentle with the throttle, where on a fast jet, you might be much more aggressive with the throttle. Yet, fast jet, you're going to have issues with the throttle not responding right away when propeller is going to respond much faster, especially in slowdown. If you slow down just a little bit with a propeller, it has an impact on a lift, it has an impact on a lot of stuff, and it's going to enable you to slow down faster. So it's different landing techniques. The E2C usually have a very good boarding rate. They are very good at landing on the boat. The propeller is a bit, a different technique. So they're usually very good at it. And just to let you know, VAW123, they started with E2As. They now use E2Cs. They're going to be moving, I guess, to E2Ds in the future, the new version. We haven't checked that, however. But what you should realize is that in the last 40, 60 years, they've been flying E2s, which is a lot of experience, a lot of lessons learned, a lot of expertise on handling that type of aircraft from a boat. So let's go step by step. Everything is looking fine. Some small aileron correction for the lineup. You see here on touchdown, looks like the right wheel was slightly high, which means it touched down a little bit with left wing low. Absolutely nothing shocking about it. It is absolutely normal. Maybe it did the last minute correction a little bit. It did a very good job arriving like this. And then cable is taken, deceleration starts, and cable snaps. And now what are they going to do? Now they're falling, literally falling out of the boat. Every single time you land on a boat, you go full power. Why do you go full power? Because if you do not catch the wire, you need enough energy to have enough airspeed at the end of the deck to be able to fly again. So in that very specific case, going full power created momentum with the engines and created airflow. That is the key factor in here, is that by going full power with the blades, with the propellers, it sends a lot of air toward the wings, and it helps create lift. I'm not going to get too much into the details of why an aircraft flies, but you need airflow to be able to fly. And with those propellers, massive engines, massive turbines, moving airflow at full power, it creates extra lift. So by having those propellers in front of the wings, it enables extra lift to be created, and it enabled them to fly away. So initially they failed. They regained some airspeed. They were extremely low to the surface. And when you're very close to the surface, you also have some sort of effect that we call ground effect that helps you fly even more. Why? Because as you're getting closer to the ground, there is like a cushioning of air, and that cushioning of air might have helped them stay airborne as well. It's like sitting a little bit on the cushion of air. It is something you find as a pilot when you flare just before landing on the runway. You feel it, and you can actually really feel it with old aircraft, and it probably helps them. From reports I was able to look at, it looks like they had some salt on the aircraft, so probably the propellers, the blades, moved a lot of water from the ocean, and it put some water on the fuselage, on the gear, and all that stuff with salt. So when you are a naval aviator, you're used to having your aircraft washed very often because of all that salty environment. So they're doing a very good job not pulling back on the stick too much, not being afraid of falling in the water. We would have improved the AOA and maybe created a stall. So you don't want that to happen. So what saved them was really understanding the importance of airspeed, getting full power, regaining airspeed, having this extra lift thanks to the propellers, and stopping sort of on the cushion of this ground effect, regaining airspeed before pulling back on the stick. So had they overreacted, they would be dead for sure. And now they have the good speed, and they go back up. You can also see that the gear is up. So they decided to go gear up as they were going down. So you see gear is still down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and gear looks up, just to give you an idea of how fast they reacted. And they saved their life and the life of the guys in the back. So awesome job. They got decorated for that. It is indeed something that is very, very cool. And on this picture, you see that the gear is up, yet the hook is still down. So they really prioritized, went toward what was needed, and I reacted perfectly. Same type of stuff with a fast jet, you're gonna have to eject most probably. Why? Because you don't have that extra lift with the propellers, and you're so close to the stalling speed that if you get slowed down too much, you're never gonna be able to accelerate fast again. Why? Because it takes more time for a jet engine to accelerate at slow speeds than for propellers. Jet engines are designed to go fast. The faster you go, the more they push. and when you're at slow speed like this, you have some inertia, it is not as good. So same type of situation with an F-18, with an F-14, with a Rafale, not going to be good for the crew, and they will probably have to eject. Happened in the past before. Might do a review of those accidents further down the line. Let me know if you want. But there you go. So what I really want you to remember from that one is lose sight, lose the fight. You want to stay alive, fight for it. Do not overreact. They survived because they didn't pull back on the stick. Sometimes you have to fight your instincts. They understand that to be able to fly, you need airspeed, and sometimes just pushing a little bit on the stick is going to enable you to regain airspeed and fly, and really fly. A point you can think about is the gear movement. On some types of aircraft, moving the gear up is going to open some stuff on the fuselage, and it's going to create extra drag. Couple aircraft, I've been told the Mirage 4 was like that. A couple aircraft exist where you don't want to, if you're very close to stalling speed, where you don't want to maneuver the gear because it's going to initially create more drag before removing drag. So it's something to take into account depending on your aircraft. Know if the initial gear movement creates drag or removes drag. 737, we don't have any doors, so it's not going to create extra drag to move the gear. It's going to create maybe some momentums, but you should be good. Other types of aircraft might be different, so know your machine. Think in advance about, hey, how would I react in that situation or that situation? Same thing go for catch-ups. When you take off from the boat, what energy level do you need to be able to fly the aircraft, stay in it, or get out if you're a fast jet? I hope it answered some of your questions around this incredible video. If you're one of the crew members, guys, you killed it in a good sense, so congrats. You nailed it. You made the Navy proud. And I hope that you keep flying safe, and see you for our next video, I guess, next week. In the meantime, take care of yourself.